Have you ever wondered what paperwork was required to book your first load with DAT One? Well, that's what this video is going to cover, along with some helpful tips and tricks on how to actually navigate the DAT One load board. Then I'm also going to give you my opinion on which package you should start with if you're going to start pretty soon. If you guys enjoy educational content surrounding trucking and how to get started the right way, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. Before we hop into the video, I wanted to show you guys entremite.com/playbook, where you guys can get the free trucker startup playbook at any time. It's got all of my partners, all of the steps to sign up in order. Everything from your LLC, EIN, your BOC3, UCR, your FMCSA application. It kind of does everything step by step, even the ELD you need, the load board. Then also there's a cost per mile calculator that you guys can get for free. If you want to know your true cost before you start your business, this cost per mile calculator can come in handy. You need to know your cost before operating the road. And now let's get back into the video. So I think it'd be helpful to go ahead and knock out the reason why you probably clicked on this video, and that's all the required paperwork that you need. And then near the end, I'll go over which package you should go with DAT One and how to navigate the load board if you're brand new to it. So there are going to be 8 different criteria you have to meet and have in your either digital binder, folder, your PDFs, right? And you're going to send this information every single time you're looking to book a load with a new broker. The very first piece of information is going to be a carrier packet. Now, you probably heard of a carrier packet. That's how the broker receives all of their information about your carrier through a few documents, right? They're going to ask probably your equipment type, what city and state you're out of, what lanes do you like to run? Do you have any customer referrals to refer out the business that you've done in the past? It's very basic. Now, once you sign that and send it back, they'll request a few things from you. Number 2 being a W-9. Now, the W-9 is simple. It's basically your LLC and EIN information, and it's usually grabbed for tax purposes. The next thing they're going to ask for is to validate your carrier and its start date and legitimacy, and that's with a MC certificate. So this MC certificate usually gives you like I said, just legitimacy of being an actual carrier. And then there's usually up in the top right or top left corner, your service start date or when DOT or your MC number actually went active. A lot of clients confuse an active DOT with an active MC number. That DOT number allows you to haul within state lines. The MC number allows you to cross state lines for hire or for compensation. That's why brokers usually have the requirements for when your MC went active instead of DOT, because having that MC number active lets them know you've had active insurance on file from the date of this actual paperwork. Now we're on criteria number 4. This is going to be super important for my new guys with factoring companies, and that's an NOA. NOA stands for Notice of Assignment. Now, when you're new in trucking, you're more than likely going to have a factoring company, and the main reason why is because if you don't, you're going to end up waiting 15 to 30 to 45 days per load in order to receive that invoice back from the broker. And the reason why you go with a factoring company is because they usually only charge a small percentage, sometimes 3 to 5%, in order to get you paid out that same or next day. Now, the reason why I'm partnered with Outgo is because they happen to be DAT One's factoring company, and they're integrated within their load board. We'll go through DAT One later to show you the dollar signs on each load that is factorable by Outgo. And it basically, in my opinion, gives you first mover's advantage because it gives you a quicker way to access that load because you know that they're factorable without having to go to a third-party portal and type in their MC number. Now, that notice of assignment is going to be required to send to each broker so they know who they're paying their invoice out to. And then on the flip side, the factoring company is paying you out that same or next day at a fixed rate of usually around 3%. The next criteria is going to be voided check. Now, this is going to be if you want to invoice them directly yourselves. Voided checks are always used as a way to pay out a business, just so they can get your account and routing number off of that voided check. Very simple to get, easy to use. The 6th criteria is going to be a COI, but not any COI. Usually within your first year, a lot of freight brokers will require that your COI has a certificate holder, right? So this just means that you're adding them onto the certificate in order to validate that they'll be covered in the midst of a claim, etc. As a licensed trucking insurance agent, there's no telling, probably hundreds of requests for these every single day, and they're just required. Doesn't cost any additional money unless they wanted to be a lost payee or an additional insured. Then usually you'll have to pay per certificate you send out that way. The seventh criteria, and this one technically really isn't paperwork, but it is required, is some form of ELD tracking or macro point. So macro point is probably the most common that freight brokers have been using, especially when I was a carrier myself. But there may be other ELD tracking tools where they just want to know either how much time you got left on your clock, or where you're going to be at, or how long it's going to take you to get to the load. One thing you'll learn in trucking is one of the most annoying things can be when brokers basically call you all day trying to see your ETA. They rather not do that and just have a location of your truck. So if you were to ever veer off from the direction of the load, or maybe an accident happens, they'll already know. So I actually don't mind tracking tools because they keep me from having to explain my ETA every single few hours, right? Then we have the last criteria, guys, and that is a signed rate confirmation. Now, I got this one in parentheses saying most important. And the reason why, load is not your load until you get a signed rate confirmation and send it back. And that goes for the broker side too. They can't just take your word that you're going to be at the pickup on time, ready to get the load delivered, unless you have a signed rate confirmation. And if anything was to go wrong, or maybe you get a delay, maybe you need a tow new truck order not used because they didn't have the freight ready on time, you need to always make sure you get a signed rate confirmation before pulling off from the shipper, right? So that's it for the required paperwork. Now you guys should have a pretty good idea of the required paperwork to not only book your first load, but all your loads. And let's go ahead and hop over to DAT One for some tricks on navigating a load board. And then I'm going to give you my realistic suggestion on which DAT One package you should start off with. Now, because this video is not only sponsored by DAT One, but I am a partner with them, you will save 10% going to the Playbook and going to, give me a second, and actually going to the load board link. This is where you'll get 10% off within your first year. And as you guys can see, the slash prices from DAT.com. So if you want to save that 10% within your first year, make sure you guys go to the unique URL within this video and get the discounted rate, right? Now, it's probably pretty obvious which package I would go with if I'm starting. If you're a guy who's only gonna book loads on your phone, you don't see yourself having a laptop pulled up at the shipper, DAT One standard could be well enough. It's just the basic tools, right? But even going up to DAT One, you get the 15-day lane rate averages, right? And this is super important to get an idea of within your market, what loads have been paying within the last 2 weeks. Now, the reason why Pro is usually the most suggested is because you get 7-day lane rate averages. You get the tri-haul triangular tools, access to Canadian loads, and then you get multiple searches. I believe you only get 2 with enhanced and then 1 with the DAT One standard. But I usually like to have multiple up because if I'm going to a certain place and I don't know usually what loads pay out of there, I'll probably make another search tab and put that city and state so I can get an idea of what my backhaul would be looking like. And then obviously as a dispatcher, if you guys are looking to become a dispatcher in the future, it's non-negotiable to have multiple search tabs because you're going to be booking more than one carrier at a time, more than likely, right? Now, you won't get the market conditions tool unless you use the DAT One Select. And market conditions tools is pretty important to me because I like to get an idea every single week on where freight is pretty tight and loose, meaning where's the highest load to truck ratio that I can keep my trucks in that area in order to give me the biggest advantage for negotiating for my freight. But like I said, DAT One Pro is usually the most popular. In this video, we're actually going to cover the load board using DAT One Office just to give you guys the biggest bells and whistles while navigating through this video. But just keep in mind that DAT One Pro will not have the market conditions tool that I will actually be showing you guys how to access as well. All right, guys, right now we're on the DAT One Dashboard. And the cool thing about the dashboard on the front page is that you can get an idea of where loads are coming in and out. And depending on equipment type, of course, this is going to change. So if I want to take off vans and just look at flatbeds, I can do that and just get an idea based on the states where loads are coming in and out of, right? But some cooler tools, in my opinion, you would have to come down to Trendlines. And then if you want access to the map and where rates are paying, let's say for dry vans, you can get an idea of what they're paying on average right now in real time from freight brokers on DAT1. You can also do this for capacity. So goodness, the load truck ratio is ridiculous for flatbeds. But you can also look at the flatbed rates, which are ridiculous right now, almost $4 a mile in the Southeast. And same goes for reefer. All right, so this is how I'm just showing you guys how to navigate it to get an idea, because I do spot market updates every single week where you guys can see this also in real time as we search loads that you drop down in the comment section. But I want to give you an idea on how you can navigate this by yourself, right? And if we go back to tools, and like I said, market conditions will only be available in the Plan Pass Pro. I believe it was named Select. I don't want to misspeak. But market conditions is very important to me because I like to get an idea, and this could be based on 30 days, 8-day, or 1 day, where outbound or inbound freight is coming and what the load to truck ratio looks. So it's basically just measuring the capacity, gives you an idea of how many trucks are going to be within a given location, within, of course, these time frames that are posted above. So if you guys are looking for more, especially my guys who are going to be dispatching more consistently, whether that be your family member or just a third-party dispatcher, I would for sure want them to have the market conditions tool just to point me in the right direction of knowing where the market is looking pretty tight, right? And of course, this is for van, flatbed, and reefer. Flatbed at this point, you could probably close your eyes and figure it out. But then because this video is catered towards new people, we're just going to go ahead and go back to the dashboard and search for a new load, right? So origin, of course, is going to be where you're coming out of. Let's just say we're out of Macon, Georgia, right? And our equipment type is a straight van. A straight box truck. My straight box truck is 24 feet and I can scale 8,500 pounds, right? And today is Friday. So let's say I want to look for loads on Friday and Monday. I would change the date range there. And destination would be if I wanted to go somewhere specific, but I'm just going to keep it open because I want to go OTR starting the new week, right? You see it's 32 results. I can look at the highest rate per mile coming out for this lane. I can also look at just the highest rate if I want the most money possible, but just keep in mind that usually highest rate is just going to be the longest trip, and that's usually not always the best rate per mile, right? And then when I'm booking freight in real time, I'm more than likely going to be looking at the age filter, and just know that you want to make sure you're looking for loads correctly. Because if you're a 26-foot box truck and you accidentally put 24, you see how it's 32 results right now with a 24-foot box truck. With 26, you more than double the available loads. This is why I always preach to people to have a 26-foot box truck, because even if the freight isn't 26 feet worth of freight, they'll still request that you have one just in case they need to add to the order, all right? So I hope that this helped out. But I hope that answered your guys' questions on what's the required paperwork in order to book your first load. We're going to have a ton of tips and tricks videos coming out for DAT1 in the near future. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and maybe comment down what you would like to see next within the DAT1 load board. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.